There we go, we're live.
We're so awkward.
Hello, stream.
We're so awkward.
Welcome to Thy STiKS. I know most of you could be watching Cast Off, but we already know Fatty's going to go through, and so we don't even have to watch it.
I'm so nervous about it, man.
And Landon, part of the STiKS fam as well. Air flying or whatever he calls himself when he gets the show.
It's Air Landon.
Air Landon. That's what he's calling himself.
Yeah.
So we have a very special guest today. We got Eric Muddawg on the show.
What's going on, guys?
Joining us, and we're not. You can see on the left. I think I'm pointing to the left. Maybe it's over here. You can see what we're going to be talking about today. So we're going to kick off the show like we normally do with our affiliations. But before I do that, I want to give a shout out to Goalie TV, the best producer on the STiKS, no pun intended. And he's behind the scenes. We are going to look at his bracket later when we look at our brackets for the playoffs, and so we'll see how he did. I think he had Optic Gaming getting second rounded though in losers and not making it.
Yeah, them getting the 1-2 punch.
So yeah, and I think they were losing to like Aware, like that was who's gonna kick him out of the tournament. So
Yeah,
I really feel bad for goalies like Twitter following and stuff. You know.
Twitter following.
So also want to shout out G Fuel, of course. Grape has been announced that you can pre-order it now, and if you do, you should use the code Kingdom. I'm just saying, like. You don't need to think about anything else. And you can also use the code STiKS if you want to get 5% off of your Scuff gaming products. Will we see a STiKS Scuff in the future? I don't know. Maybe. So we're going to go around and we're going to introduce ourselves. And I want you guys to say your name, any affiliations you have in the Call of Duty community or any other community gaming-wise that you're a part of. I don't want to know about your real life at all. And you're going to answer the question, will Crim pass STiKS in championships this year? And I'm going to start with Fatty, and then we're going to do Hitch, and then Muddawg, and then myself.
What's up, guys? My name's Brigham Kendall, formerly known as the artist known as Smiting Fatty. Let's see. You can use Fatty for your G Fuel discount. I got laid off. That sucks. Oh, wait, you didn't want to know personal life. What was the other question?
Will Crim pass STiKS in championships?
Yes, I believe he might. Well, yeah, I think he will. I mean, look at the team he's on. It's like epically stacked as far as it's like the Yankees 10 years ago, you know, or the Bulls against the Jazz against everybody else. So at least that's what it looks like from here. But STiKS, you know, STiKS in my mind has the biggest willingness to win. I don't know. We'll see.
If the Kingdom what face? If the if Optic is the Bulls, which one of them is Michael Jordan?
If Optic is the Bulls?
Yep, you called them the Bulls. Which one of them is Michael Jordan?
Michael Jordan didn't play for the Bulls.
Oh my gosh.
I'm so glad he wasn't serious. I don't. That's a hard question.
Come on, you said it. You gotta call it out. Who's Michael Jordan on Optic?
Crim.
Okay, I'll take that.
Except for he doesn't have like the shoe deal. That Nate Shot has the shoe deal type of thing, you know.
This is true.
So it's kind of hard. It's like if Scottie Pippen if Bill Paxton had all the royalties that Jordan did.
Yeah. It's like Paxton or Kerr or like one of the guys that's, you know, fourth down or something having a better like sponsorship deal than the star player.
Yeah.
Interesting. But hey, I've always said I think Crim is in terms of popularity, he's going to end up growing to the same level as like Nate and Scump. So we'll see. Hitch.
Oh, it's my turn now. What's up, guys? My name is Hitch. You can call me I slit a sheet I slit, upon a slitted sheet I sit. And today,
What?
what?
That's like a tongue twister right there.
I don't even know what you
That's
said.
the point of it. I'm a content producer for Optic Intel, and yes, Crim 6 will pass STiKS by the end of the year.
Okay. Muddawg?
What's up, guys? My name's Eric Sanders, Muddawg. I'm not affiliated with any orgs at the moment, and yes, Krim will definitely pass Eggs in championships this year.
Ooh, that's a definitely.
Whoa, a definite. Okay, so how many?
I don't know if I can call that yet. I think it's bold enough that I call it definitely.
Well, he's got to win at least what,
Um,
like 5? I mean, do you think he'll win like
this
6 or
year,
7?
I think they'll be guaranteed to win 5.
Wow, you heard it here first. Muddawg guaranteed
Optics
5
special.
championships. Special in a good way.
Yes.
Yeah, what is the difference between this team and the other powerhouses that have been attempted to put together? Why did this work in your opinion?
It's just the caliber of the Slayers they have paired with their consistency, and then I mean, Krim's ridiculously smart. Nade's really stepped his game up a lot, actually, which has really helped them because everyone always gives him crap for being the
Yeah.
worst on the team or the deadweight, the OBJ, and he's really picked his game up. He's really shown throughout their play. I mean, a lot of times he's not even carrying bomb and search, or at least on some maps. And on recovery, he doesn't usually.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's got to be doing something right if they're putting the bomb in the hands of one of those other 3, because he's surrounded by some pretty amazing Slayers.
Yeah, somebody said in the chat, they said he's overrated, and I think that's I don't know how people can still say that about the
I've always
Sonic
said
team.
that Nade is so overrated that he's underrated. Like he's so out in the open. If you think about it, like everyone knows who he is. He's a face of Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Everyone always talks about him. That people love to capitalize on whenever he shows a little bit of weakness. So whenever like he does bad, everyone talks about it. Whereas
You go.
Whereas Study could do bad, and like no one's gonna say anything about it just because it's not like someone who's in the face and in everyone's face. I'm talking about all the time.
Well, I know, but I'm the only person. Nobody, when Study took over Rambo's spot on Envy, like there was no one in the community that was saying anything. But I was like calling out stats and showing how Rambo actually was at that time performing better than Study. But nobody, because like what you said, nobody really talked about it. They were just like, yeah.
There's a
It's
lot
just
of
like-
people get their first opinion and just stick with it. They won't even
Yeah.
look at the numbers.
That's a good point.
I mean, that's like I always use the example with Merc in Ghost. Like he was an AR Slayer through most of the games he played. He was winning championships. He gets in Ghost, like has some Slayers around him, so he's running a trophy, and everyone thinks he's bad because he's an OBJ. Like, nah. And I mean, like Kill Death, it's great for content to analyze and all that stuff. But in terms of like for the players, it's the worst thing that ever happened because when you see someone who had a 1.1, it looks like they had a great event, slayed well, and someone who had, 0.9 didn't do anything special or like, wasn't that consistent.
Yeah.
You're talking a difference of going 11-10 and 9-10. So like in the long run throughout this, I mean, when you even say the range is from 0.8 to 1.2, like you're literally talking an average of someone going 12-10 or 8-10 over the course of a game. So
yeah,
when you put those stats in perspective, you realize how good all these players are and how close, the actual level of competition is.
Well, you're all really good. I mean, that's the funny thing that I think it's funny. There's a lot of really good AM players and then low tier like pub stompers that say that pro players aren't really that good. It's just that they have a lot of people used to say back in Black Ops 2 days, they have really good connection. Like, it's like, okay, there is something that has to add to Skump's ability for him to be so successful online. I mean, yes, everyone will call him a warrior, but at the end of the day, he shows up on LAN as well against the best in the world. So before I continue on, Drew the Impaler and Chimpsy Maniac, thank you guys for subbing to the channel and joining the STiKS fam. Appreciate it greatly. If you put your Twitter handles in the chat, hopefully Goalie will catch them, and then I'll follow you guys on Twitter or tweet at me. So I wanted to kind of ask you, Muddawg. So you officially, for the time being, you're retired, correct?
Yes, I'm done playing. Like I still play for fun, but I'm done.
So how did you get to that place where you made that decision?
Well, part of it is like I'm finishing up school soon. I'm gonna be looking to go into the real world and find a real job. A lot of it, I moved out to Arizona with my family, and with how the schedule with the 2Ks and 5Ks were, like I wanted to enjoy my life around here and hang out with friends and family, and doing that every weekend. Like I lived in a team house before. Like I played the game nonstop through all ghosts, and I think I just got like a little burnout because I mean I was doing well as a pro player, but I know I'm not like Nate shot. I'm not turning this into a career in terms of playing. So I want to stay involved in the industry and kind of focus on some other areas.
What are you
Uh,
going to school for?
I'm in school for business management, but I plan on working in esports. I'm talking to a few different companies right now, so I wouldn't necessarily be using my degree in terms of a business management thing, but a lot of the jobs you just need a piece of paper to get in the door.
well, you'll use it for your home and like
Yeah, I mean, for other things down the road.
yeah, you'll use the knowledge. Like I think I appreciate one thing I'll say I appreciate about competitive Call of Duty is that it's become like other esports where pro players are looking at. I mean, you look at Rambo, like pro players are actually looking into doing things beyond being on the sticks, and the opportunities are actually there because of how much it's grown. There's
Right.
actual opportunities where you could go work for Sledgehammer or go work for Infinity Ward or work for MLG. You know, there's actual opportunities being created, and guys like guys like Fatty and Hitch and Goalie, well mostly I'd say Hitch and Goalie, but just that desire to be in gaming full time, and yourself, I know that in some of the organizations that are separate from the larger ones, it's hard, it's tough to grind it out because those organizations don't have a lot of money to pay people like salaries and things like that. But I think as more money flows into our esport, those organizations as well will grow, and they'll be
Yeah,
able,
and it's only going to grow, like you said. And as you touched on Ray, I'm really close with him. I mean, my goal is to eventually do something like he did. I mean, I know
yeah.
back in Black Ops 2, Hastra was a quote unquote esport advisor for Treyarch. You know, I'd love to eventually help and work develop the game. I think I can provide like that insight of the competitive aspect and then translate it to the developers of why a certain thing might be better or not. Because you obviously couldn't walk in there, you know, at the end of the day, these guys are making $1 billion title. They know what they're doing. You can't say
Yeah.
this needs to be done, that needs to be done.
Yeah.
So I think I'd be able to say in like a respectful way to also explain, we can't have spawns like this for competitive. We can't have things like this involved.
Well, it's one of the things that like Rambo has brought to the table is that there's not a lot of crazy tweets or Reddit posts that are aimed at him when stuff needs to get fixed. Like people mention it, but it's not like the community managers we've seen in the past where they've just literally gotten assaulted on Twitter every day. Like that was
Or
their
have to hire
job.
bodyguards?
Well, their job was basically to receive hate. Like that's what their real
Right.
job was. It was not community manager; it was hate manager. And so they had to dig through all the ranting and raging and pick out what actually makes sense. And I think the one thing that using a pro player like Rambo that we all respect, using him in a position where we know Rambo's working for Sledgehammer, but you don't hear a lot of pros. Or people on Twitter like complaining, like Rambo, come on, like there's this glitch, fix it. You know, why are we
Right.
still playing a CTF? Why don't we play two hard points? Like people aren't doing the same thing they've done in the past, and so I'd love to see you doing something like that. Like I think respected pro players being in those positions. It's one of the reasons why I think Nade, if there ever is a pro player, what do you call it?
Liaison?
Yeah, or if they actually create some kind of I don't want to say the word.
A union.
Yeah, I don't want to say the word union, but if
I, don't-
there's
I, I know what you're going for, though.
yeah,
I know
if
what you're
there's a
like.
players a union is the best word, like organization,
Association.
players association. There, thank you, Fatty.
You're welcome.
I think Nade would be a good guy to step up and do it, just because of the influence he has, and his voice is heard not only by the smallest of people, but the largest as well. You know, when he tweets
Of
at
course.
Sledgehammer or Activision or Michael Condrey, like they reply. So
Right.
that holds something up. So I kind of want to move on and talk a little bit about FaZe Black. This team somehow, unfortunately, did not qualify for the relegation tournament that's coming up for season 2. Now, what that means is that we have 4 pro players plus the dudes on SB. So there's like 10 or more pros that are not on season 2 teams. And so, kind of what I want to ask you guys is, and whoever wants to start can start. Like, is this FaZe Black team beyond champs going to stay together? If there's really not a spot for them in season 2, and I know they could buy a spot. There's all these different options, but do they stay together and play out of the season, or do they try to get on a team and get in?
I absolutely don't think they'll stay together. Some of those players are going to get picked up by season teams regardless of what happens. Apathy is ridiculously talented. Um, I mean, any of those four you could see going to a league team. And if you're not in that pro league, and I mean, those players aren't going to, go play in the UMG semi-pro league.
Yeah.
There's no point for them to stick together and play. At that point, they'll probably just be grinding tournaments, eights, anything to work on their individual game, and eventually form some type of team for the next season.
Yeah, there's no
If
Proofy
they don't
being in
fail.
the semi-pro league would be just silly. Like, I feel like what is going on? Why is Proof in this league? What do you think, Hitch? Like, what are your thoughts on this team and SB? Do you think they both break up to get into the league, to get into season 2?
Yeah, for sure. But I thought this team. I didn't think this team was going to stay together in the first place. It's such a weird team. I don't
Yeah,
know. It's just
they've been grinding together. I mean, they've been trying to build some camaraderie and like the chemistry
right.
and all that kind of stuff. But wouldn't it suck if they like? So let me ask you this: what if they win? And I'll kind of aim this at Fatty. What if they win? Well, let's say they get second at champs. Do they still break up?
I would say, that's a hard one. For one thing, I don't think they'll get second at champs. I'm just putting that out there. But it's. I would say yes, stay together, and then go play that UMG semi pro league, because a little chemistry together is better than nothing. And there could be some good teams in there, and there's a chance that maybe a little bit more money is put into that semi pro league, but. I really do think they end up breaking up, getting split up. I don't think we'll see Apathy and Censor together anymore, to be honest. I think he'll become a starter on one of the league teams, because what Eric said, he's that good of a player. I mean, he's ridiculous. I think Censor will also find a spot. What I'm interested in is mostly SB. I mean, that was a team that I thought definitely would place in that relegation tournament. They had just done the UMG semi-pro league. That's a team that I don't know what those guys are going to do, honestly, because I think some of them will get picked up, but I don't know. It's what do you guys think about SB?
I think there's a shot that Nesla gets picked up by a team. He's really talented, and same with Dito.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really going. A lot of it's going to depend on who qualifies, because if some of the teams that were relegated from the pro league qualify, they might not be as quick to make a roster change.
Yeah.
Whereas if one of the lesser known amateur teams qualifies, then they'd be a lot quicker to pick up, pro players won championships before.
Yeah, and that's kind of my next question is, so the teams we're looking at is Justice, Optic Nation, Elevate, Revenge, ISO, Resurrection, and Echo. And then of course the 8 teams that are already in. Like who and I guess Muddawg will ask you this. What team do you think is most likely to get nobled? That's what I'll call it. Is there a team that's most likely to get replaced completely? If they make it in?
I mean, a lot of that.
Like Elevate,
lies
if they lose their roster to Nation, like, I mean, couldn't Apathy and some of those dudes roll over there?
I mean, they certainly could. In any situation like that, I'd have to know the owner to be able to give you a true answer, because that's who that decision comes down to.
That's a good point.
At the end of things, and in an organization where I know Hastra, for example, Envy, he would never just wipe out a whole roster and bring 4 new people in with a team that qualified.
Yeah.
But Elevate, they wanted those pro player names or whatever, and I don't even know who the owner of that is, but obviously he thought just like a clean slate would be a good idea.
Yeah.
I think it's hard for me to really answer that.
Well, before we go to commercial, and you guys, while we're on commercial, when we come back, we'll find out how Fatty did on the cast off. But and maybe I don't know if you can answer this, Muddawg, but how is ON playing with their new roster in season 2, or are they not? I seem to have it's very confusing right now. It seems like they're supposed to play with the roster they had, which would include like Proofy, but they keep basically announcing, even though they haven't announced on Twitter, that their roster is with Killa and Miracle. So
Well, that's like their champs roster because right now with this relegation tournament, you can make whatever roster you want.
yeah.
Even though they came from the league where they had the set rosters and dropped down, now they can make their changes. So they'll have to play with that roster and qualify to be in. They're not
Okay.
guaranteed in yet, so that's why they can.
So you're saying because they're
be
they're
fun.
they're not guaranteed in, they can actually change the
Right.
roster that they played with in season 1.
Yes,
Oh,
I think, or at least like we have to probably have like 2 players from it, so Teep and Damon.
yeah. And then they can switch out the other
Right,
2.
switch the other 2 to whatever you wanted. I don't know the exact rule, but I'm sure it's something like that.
I don't either, but it's a mess. All right, well, we're going to go to a quick commercial break, guys. When we come back, we're going to actually pull up the brackets for the Season 1 playoffs, and we're going to do our predictions for this weekend, and then we're going to talk a little bit about the relegation tournament that is like in the middle of the week for some reason. It's like a Tuesday, Wednesday type of tournament, but that's coming up the week after, so lots of stuff in this crazy February, and we'll talk about it on the other side of 60 seconds. We'll see you guys then. Peace. All right, welcome back, guys. If anybody could update, I am, of course, interested in what's going on. If anybody could update what's going on Cast Off. And Goalie, somebody in the chat wants to know what the song is. I don't whatever you were playing. Hello, Josephs.
Type it in the chat.
All right, so Goalie is going to pull up somebody's bracket. I think mine is first. We're going to look at, if you guys want to see the bracket, it's on cod.esportspedia.com. And you can actually fill it out, and you can, there's a prediction contest going on. That's fine. You can show the empty bracket. So we'll look at he's going to show a bracket just with the top of the winner's bracket filled out or empty. And so right now in the first round, Optic is playing Rise, FaZe is playing Aware, Prof is playing TK, and Denial is playing Team Envious. So if you guys that are in the show, Muddawg, Hitch, if you could pull up your own brackets so that we can go through it. And maybe we'll use mine as a reference point, Goalie. All right, so in the first match, Optic versus Rise, I have Optic winning. I don't need to probably explain too much, but Optic is just they're beyond this team in their ability, and I think 3-1 is about the best we'll see in that matchup. Anybody have anything different?
Nope. I think that's pretty fair.
All right, next match we got FaZe Clan versus Aware. I have FaZe beating Aware. A lot of people I saw on Twitter people saying Aware was going to get to like the finals, but I think even with the arguing and the early exits we've seen with the 2Ks and 5Ks with FaZe, I still think this team is going to show up and they're not going to lose in the first round. So I have them beating Aware. Does anybody have Aware beating FaZe?
I do not, but I definitely think it's going to go 3-2. I think it's going to be a really close series, but I picked FaZe to win also.
In the search?
Yes.
What do you think it's going to be? Like 6-2?
S&D? Yeah, I think FaZe will win that map 5 pretty convincingly. STiKS, you know, he's just, that whole team's so experienced, and Aware is just extremely inexperienced. So when the pressure is on the line, I mean, you have 4 champions on that team.
And experience, it counts for something.
Counts for a lot, especially these main stage tournaments.
Yeah. All right, so the next match. Now, this is one where I think we might have some disagreements, but Prophecy versus Team Caliber. I actually have TK winning that. I think the chemistry they've built in the house is going to help out. This Prophecy team, they're a good online squad, and I believe they're playing with the roster that has Money B, Ricky, Legal, and Fears, I think, on that team. And so I think on LAN they're going to do okay, but you'll see in a moment I kind of have them basically losing their first 2 matches and being out of this tournament. So I have TK winning. They could go 3-2, but I think it could be a 3-1 if TK comes out blazing like they do in some tournaments. If this is a good day for them, I guess. Anybody have Prophecy winning it?
Oh, I picked TK to win it.
I picked TK.
Yeah.
All right. So next match, Denial versus Envious. And this is a roster swap match basically. You got players that used to be on both teams, kind of on the opposite teams, and I do think Denial's going to come out hard. They're not going to. This is going to be 3-2 to, and I'm giving it to Team Envious. I think they're going to win this 3-2. I think some of the lacking chemistry on Denial is all that's gonna come through. It's gonna shine in that moment. And I've been listening to them and watching them on streams, and I just think Envious will edge them out in that match. Anybody who had Denial winning?
Not I.
Nope.
Fatty?
Say that again. Sorry, I'm still looking at the whole cast off crap. I'm
Do you have
shaking.
Denial winning over Envious?
I do have Denial winning. I don't know. I think Clayster will. I think Clayster will be the difference in this one, and he's going to be mad that he's not on Team Envy.
What were you gonna say, goalie? Oh, okay.
Brigham.
That
He's like,
guy.
I don't know his name.
Beard. Call him Beard. Since he can be the Optic Beard now, technically.
No.
You write for Intel.
So-
We can.
I do, but I'm not taking that mantle upon me.
All right. So before we go to losers bracket, I'm going to go to round 2, and this is going to be what I would think would be one of the best matches that we see is Optic versus FaZe. Now, in my bracket, I have them facing each other again later in the tournament, but I think this will be a clash. Optic is either going to 3-0 FaZe and demoralize them, and then FaZe is going to go on a losers bracket run, or it's going to be a really close match and Optic is going to 3-2 FaZe. I think this will be one of the best matches, but I do have Optic Gaming winning and going on to the semis.
I think that matchup really Enable's going to be the key player to watch. He's overall a pretty consistent slayer, but if he really starts to have one of those games where he's dropping bombs, I think that'll be able, because you have to win the search against Optic. They're so strong in respawn, but with that talent that FaZe has, if Enable can spark off one of those 50 bomb games, something around there,
Yeah.
take one of those respawns, I think it'll really give him the leg up there.
Well, and Optic's been doing like yesterday, I think it was yesterday in the 5K, Nade said, he's like, oh, no wonder I couldn't find any kills. Now, he still was 30 and 33, but the rest of them all dropped 40 bombs. It was like 45, 43, and 42 or something like that. And so, and they were like, oh, we all got 40 bombs. They didn't even notice. They were just slaying out. So they have this chemistry it's kind of ridiculous. And I think it's going to... I agree with you. Enable could go off, but this could be one of those things where Enable goes off and they still end up losing if the other guys aren't stepping up. Because this team has been known to butt heads. And so we'll see on LAN how they do. If they start doing stupid stuff and losing to Optic when they shouldn't, like if they lose the first search, I think they could see some trouble. Because Parasite and Aches will go at each other if they lose.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I mean, I've played at a tournament with Haggy, and when things don't go right early, you hear about it. Tournament.
Hitch and Fatty, did you guys both have Optic winning that?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So in the second round, I have TK versus Envious, and so does Hitch, and so does Muddawg. I think Fatty
So does
has.
everyone.
Fatty said Denial was going to beat him.
Yeah, I got TK versus Denial.
So I actually gave TK the edge there. I think again, this is going to be one of their on days. TK has this weird ability where they kind of are like, they either have a really good start to a tournament or they have a bad start to a tournament, and then they fight to make it better. But I think this is going to be a tournament where they have a good start, and so I picked them to actually win over Envious. Who had something different?
I did. I had Envy beating TK. I really think that Envy Denial matchup is going to be one of the closer matches too. And I think
that'll be good.
assuming Envy wins that with the momentum, I think whoever wins that Envy Denial game is going to meet up with Optic in what was it, winners
Semifinals, yeah.
Winners finals, yeah.
You said whoever wins the first match of Denial and Envy.
Yeah, whoever wins that, I think will meet up with Optic in the winners finals.
Okay. And then Fatty, who did you have winning between TK and Denial?
I had Denial winning actually. I mean, I think TK has a great chance to beat Denial, but I think Denial will come, wanting to play. Like I said before, it'll be that Clayster hype that's going to drag them through. That's the one thing I don't see on TK, and is that hype factor. Unless when there is, it's usually theory that's yelling at people. But I think that's going to be important in a tournament like this. I see Denial going on.
What is going on? I'm reading the chat. Sorry, I don't know what they're talking about.
I
So,
think they're talking about the castle.
oh, okay. I was like, what is? I don't know what's going on there.
Muddawg's next.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I guess. So you're seeing this? Are you seeing this new Denial team like the same way we all saw the old Denial team? Like the team that everybody thought could kind of maybe beat Optic,
No,
the old Denial before Clayster? You think
no,
this team is not as good, but they're still
I
good
don't.
enough to beat?
They're not as Slay heavy. They're not as Slay. It's a different team.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that's really the only place where I thought Denial could beat Optic, or at least this current Optic lineup was in those respawns where slaying really matters, especially
Yeah.
say like an uplink. I mean, you got to kill around your portal. You got to push through. I think that's where Denial that's how that team was built, was just off that killing basis. And the only way Optic would beat them is through their search and destroy, which Denial is also decent at search and destroy.
Yeah, I thought they could have stood up against them. I don't know. I guess my confidence is lacking in this Denial squad, but we'll see how it goes. So losers bracket, first round, I have Rise versus Aware, and I have Aware winning. This is a toss-up. I think whoever wins that is going to lose to Envy in the next round, regardless. And then for Prophecy versus Denial, I have Denial beating Prophecy, and Prophecy's out of the tournament. What did you guys have for losers bracket first round?
First round, I had Rise losing, getting the double biscuit, and then I have Prophecy beating Denial. So Denial.
Oh, you give Prophecy to it.
Yeah, 40 bomb bows is gonna come out.
You had Denial get basically like 2 lost out of this tournament.
That's
the way to put it. 2 lost out of this
2
tournament.
lost. Oh, 2 lost. Yeah, that's whoops. Muddawg, what did you have in first round of losers?
I had Aware beating Rise, and I had Denial beating Prophecy. Same thing you had there.
Okay. So second round of losers, I have Envy taking it kind of handedly over Aware. I think Envy is going to be a little upset that they lost to TK, and they're going to go off. That could be a 3-0. And then this match, FaZe and Denial will be a good one, but I have FaZe taking it after their frustration from losing to Optic, which could be a 3-0. If Optic wins the search, we could see a 3-0, in my opinion. I could see the Parasite and STiKS and Slasher chipping in, and Enable just sitting there like, come on, guys, we just got to win this next, we got to win this next map and get to that last search. And I just see them kind of crumbling and then going off on Denial to the best of their ability. So I have them winning, FaZe winning. So what do you guys got second round of losers?
I have Team Caliber going up against Rise. I think I'm the only one that put Rise through. And I have TK winning that one. Then I have FaZe going up against Team Envious because I said Denial was going on earlier. And I have Envious. Wait, what did I say? FaZe versus Envy. And I have Envy winning just because of the whole Parasite STiKS factor.
Yeah. Hey, I agree. The Parasite STiKS. Wait. Back up. You said you have FaZe losing?
Yes.
And out of the tournament? In the second round of losers?
Yep.
Oh.
I believe Envy beats them.
Let me tell you this. If that team loses in the second round of losers, they're not going to do very well at Champs. I'm just saying.
I don't think there'll be a team.
Well, they can't really change it for Champs. But this LAN, the reason this LAN is important is because this is the last LAN before Champs. The relegation tournament's online. And so this LAN, in my opinion, is kind of like, this could give Optic that scary, stay away from us, we've already got Champs in the bag. Or somebody else could win, and we'll see what happens. But if FaZe loses that early in this 8-team tournament, I think it could hurt them for champs. I think it'll demoralize them, and it'll last that long, like almost a month. That's unfortunate. So Fatty has them losing out. Muddawg, are you watching your thing, or can you hear me?
I can hear you. Sorry, I was watching it, but I'm here.
Okay, so what did you have for second round of losers?
For the second round of losers, I have Aware beating TK. I just think that TJ and Hook, their slaying is just going to override Goon and Loonies. And then I actually have Denial beating FaZe, which was kind of my. I
Oh,
wanted to be a little different and mix it up here. So I definitely do think Denial has the potential to do this. But the main reason I picked this is because I think if FaZe loses the optic there, like we said, if, Aches and Parasite kind of start to get into it a little too much,
yeah.
then that might kill their momentum and they'd struggle in that next round.
Wow. All right. I guess I could go with that. All right. So next round, we're gonna go losers again before we go to winners semis. So we'll go to next round or winners finals, I guess. So the losers semis is on my bracket. I have Envious versus FaZe, and I'm giving it to FaZe again. I think this is going to be a losers bracket run for FaZe. I think it's going to be like old school complexity losers bracket run. They're just going to dominate teams on their way to the grand final. So, what did you guys have for losers semifinals? I don't care who
Losers,
starts.
losers semis.
Yeah. So
Okay, I have Envy versus FaZe.
yeah, me too.
There.
Who'd you have
Okay,
winning?
I have Envy taking that.
Okay. So you think Envy? What would you say the map count would be? Envy versus FaZe.
I think they're gonna 3-0 them.
Oh my god.
Oh, oh, oh.
Bold move, Cotton.
I don't know. I just feel like they're about to click.
Dang. Really?
Yeah.
That's all right.
If you have a prediction bracket where everything makes sense the whole way through,
It'll never happen.
it'll
It never
never
works
happen.
Never works out.
Well, hopefully, the one thing that I hope actually happens is, I would like to see Optic continue their dominance. I think it's good for the sport. It's interesting. It makes a good storyline. Like the reality is, when Complexity was winning everything, it made for very interesting tournaments. Because if they lost one map, people would be like, "Oh, some AM team beat Complexity." I think people would get so excited, and I think with Optic doing that, maybe in the next tournament they can go on a nice little losers bracket run or whatever. But I think that them continuing their dominance, I don't think it's a bad thing for the sport right now. I think it's helping us grow dramatically. When Optic is not only Optic, but they're winning, that's kind of dangerous. So, Muddawg or Fatty, who did you guys have in loser semis, and then who'd you have winning?
I have.
Uh,
Oh, you
go
can
ahead.
go.
Go ahead.
I have Envy playing Denial in loser semis, and I would think Envy's gonna be able to take that one. I really think this Denial team is one of the underrated squads going into this. I know they've been doing well, in the 2Ks,
Yeah.
5Ks, but people are obviously saying, internet. I think they will do well in LAN, but I think Envy's gonna be the stronger team there. And then I have Optic beating Envy in the grand finals.
Who's the best player on Denial in your opinion, Muddawg?
In this game, I would probably say Clay.
Good.
Um,
Do you think?
I would have said attach, but Clay is he's just really a complete player in this game. And where attach maybe edges Clay out in the slaying power a little bit.
Mm,
Overall, Clay's just more consistent and just especially in search, he's just making smart plays all the time. He really keeps composure of his team. He's a good leader. I think
Yeah.
he's more total package.
I agree. I'm amazed that he wound up on Denial. Great squad, great organization. I like the owner, but I'm just the way that Clay was moved around just still baffles me. Just in my opinion, I know that Envy had like 17 different rosters that they were trying to work out, but I just the way that he reminds me of like someone that should have been like a Crim6 only on a few teams in his career. So I just think it's odd. So in the finals of winners, I have Optic and TK. I have Optic winning that over TK to go to the grand finals. And finals of losers, I have FaZe and TK. And I have FaZe taking that over TK. So TK is going to get the loss and then the loss to take third. And I have FaZe and Optic facing off in the grand finals. What did you guys have for those last two matches going into the grand finals?
I guess I had Optic playing Denial, Denial losing. Then I had Denial versus Envious, and I think that's what I was saying before, but I believe Envy wins. Optic playing Envy with Optic winning.
You said Optic playing Envy with Optic winning
Yeah.
in the
So
in the
Optic,
grand final.
yeah, Optic, Envy, Denial is my top three.
Okay, I got you. Optic Envy final would be good. It's not as there's not as much rivalry as there was, but I guess Merc still got a little bit of rivalry with Optic. I guess he always will. Hitch, what did you have?
Winter semis, I have Optic versus TK, and then I have Optic beating them, and then I have a rematch between TK and Envy, and I had TK taking the first one, but in the losers finals, I have Envy taking it, and then I have Envy and Optic playing each other in the grand finals, and Optic beats them 7-0.
7.
Yeah, they're just gonna keep playing.
Oh, I was like, Optic's gonna be the weakest, so unless it's like they get beat 3-2. Like what?
They're just gonna keep playing.
Oh, okay. Just they're gonna give him some more chances.
Yeah.
All right, Muddawg, what do you have in the for the last couple of matches?
For what do I have for what? I'm sorry.
For the losers finals, winners finals, and grand final.
For the loser finals, I have Envy playing Denial. Winners finals, I had Envy playing Optic, and grand finals, I have Envy and Optic.
You have Envy beat. Okay, wait. Give me your winners finals one more time.
Optic and Envy.
Optic wins, right?
Right.
And then Envy and Denial, and who'd you say wins?
I have Envy beating Denial in loser finals, and
so the
then
three of you all have an Optic Envy grand final. Interesting.
two very good teams.
Except for yeah.
I have an Optic Phase grand final.
I just think FaZe is going to implode after that first Optic gaming
loss.
Yeah, especially if they get 3-0'd, like you're saying, it's going to be they're going to fall apart because those guys. Whoa, that's a lot of typing.
Is Muddawg typing? Who's typing? Murdering the keys.
That's those Cherry MX Blues switches.
Oh, what's Merc 3? Oh my gosh. Somebody that was the giveaway code. Oh my gosh. All right, so real quick before we go to our last commercial, I'm running out of time, but we should be good for the last part of the show. Before we go to commercial, I'm going to name the 8 teams that are going to be at the relegation tournament, and I just want you guys to pick 4 of them that are going to go into Season 2. So listen up. Justice, Optic Nation, AR, Elevate, Revenge, ISO, Resurrection, and Echo. Fatty, who you got?
Who's on the Justice Squad now? Moach?
Slasher,
or not Slasher?
Methods,
Slacked.
Methods. Who's on there? Go ahead, talk. What?
Always talking right now, guys.
So,
you should talk on stream.
Yeah, I'm talking on stream now. So the Justice roster is Methods, Octane, I think TCM, and someone else. Let me look it up quick. But the roster for this, if they do the Season 2 relegation or Season 2 relegation tournament, it's Methods, Nox, Octane, and Felony. That's what the Justice roster is.
Oh yeah.
Moach for Champs is on Prophecy.
So what you're really telling me is that Justice is going to hopefully, so that if Justice makes it into Season 2, that's going to be FaZe Black.
Wait, what?
Pretty much.
Well, yeah.
If
Yes.
a team full of AMs makes it into Season 2 and they have the title and they have the branding of Justice Pro, then Rick is just going to grab Apathy, Proofy, Study, and Censor and have 4 pros in Season 2.
Yeah.
If they let him, he'd probably have to keep 2 of the...
It depends on what the rules for the relegation tournament are, because that's the real issue. Or the relegation, however the relegation.
Relegation.
Yeah, relegation.
Wow. So that makes me. I would pick personally Optic Nation, AR, for sure those 2 teams, and then does Elevate? Does anybody know? Do they have to play with Killa and Miracles? Like that team, or do they have a different roster? Do they have an AM roster as well? This is where this roster mania, and I don't understand where people are.
Mhm.
Like what
Which,
the rosters
like,
are.
Elevate does have has a roster that they want to play in, or they want to play with Season 2. I don't know how it would work or anything, but their current roster is Spacely, Classic, Slacked, and Huddle. They don't have a Champs roster at all.
But how did they get Spacely,
Exactly.
Classic, Slacked, and Huddle on that team?
Well, okay, so Spacely and Classic, they, Spacely, Class, Slacked, and Huddle, none of those players were in or qualified for Season 2. But they shouldn't, so Elevate won't have a team in Season, what, it's so confusing because it depends on what roster they can actually use for the relegation tournament. If they have to use the Killer roster or if they can use their new roster.
But then if they have to use the killer roster, then who's Optic Nation playing with?
Exactly.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm not sure about the rules on that either.
It's a disaster.
this is like, to be honest, the I put the blame of this on how many tournaments there were in February. Like the number of qualifiers and playoffs and all the tournaments, and it's so hard to keep track of these rosters because you have like some teams have played with 3 different rosters in a month's time, and it's so hard to keep track of them. So I'm gonna say I think Revenge is gonna get a spot in Season 2. I think Optic Nation, whoever they play with, is gonna get a spot, and I think AR. I don't even know who these other teams are now. Echo that's Brian Saint's team, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And Gucci.
And Gucci.
Yeah.
So they have a possibility as well. But again, these pro players that are floating around from SB and FaZe Black are gonna throw a wrench in
Isolation
one of the
could
teams.
definitely qualify too. I'm not sure
Is that
which
like
Isolation
Stars?
roster it is, but
Yeah.
any of their rosters could qualify.
That ISO is the one with Ivy. I think he teams with Swarley.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
No,
okay, that's the Ivy.
I don't know
Swarley
about the other
roster.
two.
Okay.
I know Ivy's on it.
So somebody's saying in the chat they released Killa and Miracles. Elevate did.
Yes,
yeah, but just because they released them, does that mean Optic Nation can pick them up?
that doesn't
Godly?
them being released doesn't mean anything for, well, who knows what it means for the relegation tournament. That's the problem. And the ISO roster is Vicious, Evasion, Ivy, and Swarley. So,
This is gonna be a mess.
and then the
we'll just
Resurrection
have to
roster
see.
It
could,
is a mess already.
whoever Resurrection is, it's like basically the old Illmatic roster, which is Ares, Baker, Jumpin, Colt. Well, it's Baker was on Illmatic, so
My mind has exploded.
Mine exploded when I tried to figure out who was on what team. Anyway, all right,
Oh.
we're gonna go to commercial break. When we come back, we're gonna finish off the show. I gotta figure out if I can fit in how many questions I can fit in, and then have 1 year later to talk to you guys about before we end the show off. And we'll see you guys on the other side of 60 seconds.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. And we're back. I'm gonna give you guys a couple questions. I only have a few minutes, and then I gotta get moving and shaking. Goalie's gonna be mad because I'm kind of gonna pick some, but he'll try to get them on. I can hear him sighing. Yeah, I need to figure out how to do that. All right. The first one is really easy. This is for Muddawg, and it comes from MLG Roster Mania. And
Here, Landon.
I'm trying to link it so that I can send it to Goalie so he can put it on stream for you guys. So I'm just talking, not really saying anything. All right, the question is, who's your favorite teammate? Who's the favorite teammate, the best teammate you've had, or the most memorable, or whatever? Who's your favorite teammate?
I mean, so I would usually say Crow, but I'm like biased to that because he was my best friend in real life. He's the one who got me involved with Call of Duty. So other than that, I would say Ricky or Miracles. They're both two really good teammates that I had a ton of fun playing with. That I played Season 1 finals with them in Ghost, and they both communicate very well.
What is the thing about a lot of people like teaming with Ricky? Is he just funny or nice or just like?
He's just a positive player, positive call outs, communicates well. I don't know. I like him outside the game too, so maybe I'm biased with that, but I enjoy playing.
I don't think that's a bad bias, liking someone outside the game.
I like him, so I'm biased.
Yeah, I'm biased because he's cool. All right, next question is, what is your opinion? This is from L Lag R Carnage. What is your opinion on removing CTF and putting in a second hardpoint? Anybody can chime in. Go ahead, Dog.
I definitely think we should do that. CTF is just too chaotic at this point, especially with the movement. And I think we have 4 really good hardpoint maps, and the fact that we're only playing one of those in a series, I think we should change.
I
Anybody
agree
else
with
want to chime in?
that. Yeah, I will. I agree with that. I've honestly never liked capture the flag. I just think it can either be
In this
really
game?
out of hand. No, just any game. Honestly, I wasn't a huge fan of it in Black Ops 2. I mean, with the score streaks, it was awesome. But if you were to take away the score streaks, it would be pretty lame. Well, not lame, but it's not as intense as a hard point. I want to see action. I want to see adventure, and that's what hard point's all about.
By putting in a second hardpoint, are we basically conceding that Optic is going to do even better in tournaments?
Maybe.
I mean, this team playing hardpoint just is disgusting to watch. It's like sometimes I feel like I'm watching child abuse. Like it's really bad. I want to call CPS or something.
Child protective.
COD protective services and tell them to help out this team that's getting smacked. But like I think it's good for the game because right now search is like if you can win both the searches, and that's what Parasite said, the best way to beat Optic is focus on search. Don't focus on respawns. Focus on winning search. Don't try to beat them in hardpoint. It's not going to happen. And that's only one game type. Like if we put in 2 game types, I think it would be good if we put in the second hardpoint, in my opinion. It'd be more entertaining. It's just my thoughts on the subject. All right, last question comes from someone. I don't know who. Let me see if I can find their name. Oh my gosh, TweetDeck is frozen. Okay, here we go. So the last question comes from Daniel Padolina, aka Cole Cast. Cole's a pretty cool guy. And he asked, who has the dominant Kingdom Fro, Muddawg or Hitch? Nobody's going to answer this question.
I don't think me or Hitch are allowed to answer this. Yeah, Hitch just froze.
I think Hitch's hair just answered it.
What did he do? I can't see. Did he do something?
He's throwing it
Taking it
out.
out? Oh. That's just cheating, Hitch. You can't pick.
What were we talking about?
Oh gosh.
Right now, Muddawg looks better, but Hitch is just more.
Somebody's
dumb.
gonna screenshot that.
Now I know why Hitch always has a hat on this show.
Oh goodness.
All right, so before we close the show out, Goalie and I are the number 1 detriments. We are the biggest detriments in the world. We let last week pass without telling anyone that to the day, last Monday, was 1 year from when the first STiKS episode aired on my YouTube channel. And so, yeah, it's pretty good. You know, we didn't start the live show until, what'd you say, Goalie, like 3 months later, 4 months later?
Yeah.
So 6 months. But when we started the show and we used to record it and it had the stuff on the side, it looked more like this than the one we used to do. And Fatty was on, Hitch was on a couple times. We have been doing this show for 1 year, and I just kind of want to say thank you to all of you. I mean, we're over 40 subscribers on Twitch. We have over 300,000 views, 5,400 followers. We normally, climb over 1,000 every time we turn on the stream. I just really appreciate your guys' support, and you bought a whole bunch of shirts and hoodies when we sold those. You guys support us on Twitter. Our Twitter for the show that we only started like a couple months ago is approaching 2,000 followers, and you guys are just showing a whole bunch of support, and we really appreciate it. We're a little bit different than most of the stuff you see in our community. We try to use really clean language and try to focus on the positive of stuff, and except for when you bring up Keemstars, Fatty might get rage a little bit. It's like it changes his countenance of his face when you bring up Keem. But I really do appreciate you guys. So what I wanted you guys to do, and Muddawg, you're just going to have to pick a moment off of this show. Goalie, he's showing the first show on stream.
No way. I'm
That's
gonna cry.
That's legit. He is showing the first STiKS episode on stream. That's so funny. I recorded that at like midnight. You could tell because it's dark in the background. Wow. All right. So look at Goalie's overlay though back in the day.
Yeah.
This dude, man.
Baby Goalie was still going in back
I'm saying Goalie's baby Goalie. If you guys could think about it, and I'm gonna let I'll go first, maybe, so that you guys, because you guys will be mad if I don't go first, or maybe I'll make Muddawg go first since he's only using this show. So you're gonna say, what is your most memorable moment on the STiKS?
Huh.
I would say my most memorable moment was when I first looked at Skype and you had those plastic teeth in. That's pretty memorable. Yeah, those.
Classic teeth for the win.
God.
Fatty. Goalie's gonna have to go
Um,
too, by the way.
Wait, what?
I said goalie's gonna have to go too. Go ahead.
Oh.
Fatty.
Shoot, that's a hard one. I think it was probably last week when, well, you know, the emotes were pretty memorable. I've never had an emote of myself, but then when what was it, Hitch's Jew beard or whatever, when the fatty Hitch
Oh,
combination
that's right.
subscribed, that was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. That was pretty
That's
legit.
crazy.
Hitch, you have a moment?
Probably doing the show with Hex, to be honest.
That was pretty amazing.
Yeah, I don't want to sound like, I don't know, like whatever, optic fanboy kind of guy, but like, I don't know, it's just weird how like I was a sophomore in high school watching Hex's videos, and then like, you know, I would have never known like way back then that, you know, I would have be involved in the community at all, and then, you know, be involved with, you know, someone that I used to or continue to watch all their videos and all of his organization's videos. So that was kind of special. It was kind of cool, and yeah, I guess I don't know. There's every week something crazy happens.
This is very true.
It makes Mondays a little bit less horrible.
So I'll say, when we had Scump on, that was. Oh wait, that's next week. Just joking.
No.
Fatty was like, "What?"
I was like, wait a minute.
That's how that
So, my kid finally got up. So, I would say, honestly, when we had Hastro on, and it was Hastro and Foreplay, or Hastro and Freaky?
Freaky.
So, Hastro, when we had Foreplay on, that was pretty cool as well. But when we had Hastro on, that was like, that was a pretty cool moment. When we had Hex on, I had talked to him so much at that point where it wasn't as like, oh my gosh, Hector, you know. But when we had Hastro on, him and I had barely talked in DMs, but it was basically, I hit him up, he said yes, he came on the show, and it was great. I learned a lot from him. I every time somebody asked me on Twitter, hey, what should I do if I'm trying to start a team? I just link them that show and let them watch the whole thing because of how much knowledge him and Freaky shared. And anytime Fatty says something ridiculous, those are great moments. Like when Fatty talks about toilets or women at his work.
Well, now we know why I'm laid off.
Or his wife.
Oh no!
They saw the stream.
Oh boy!
And they complained. They said
dark jokes.
Oh gosh. And when I used my accent last week, that was when me and Golden Boy, when we casted together with our accents, that was pretty funny. All right, we're gonna close the show like we always do, guys. Oh, sorry, goalie, go ahead.
Kingdom's already forgetting about the ghost
I
in the chat,
can't see
guys.
you. You're
Hey,
yeah.
Kingdom Ghost in the chat, please. But yeah, I'm gonna say my favorite moment of the show was when it was the first time we had Freaky on. Actually, I was actually on the show. Like my face was on the show. It was really weird. I was super white because my camera settings were messed up. But we had Freaky on the show. I was super nervous, but he went on about a 20-minute ramble about how SB, or the SB roster at the time, which was the censor apathy roster, that just completely ditched him, and then just listening to him talk about all the stuff that went on behind the background, it was crazy. And that was like my first real intro to what it looked like to be an owner in the scene. So I thought it was cool, but
that was a really good.
That was when we were like, we were legit. Like the STiKS was legit. Like an owner was coming on to talk about his issues with the scene, and we were like, "Let's go! This is our platform. What's up?"
This is very true. And I'm very happy with how successful the the STiKS EU has done. I'm happy with the number of viewers they had, and I think they're approaching 1,200 views on YouTube on a channel that only has 2,000 subscribers. So that's not bad. I think they're doing really good. I'm excited to see the future with Halo and CS. I think CS is going to blow up.
It already has blown up.
Yeah, not the game. I'm talking about the show.
Okay. Also, I have one more. So this was when
Go ahead.
this was when Kingdom. I was out shopping with my mom. It was, I can't remember. It was probably Black Friday-isk or after December, like after Christmas time. But Kingdom called me, and I had to go step out of JCPenney's because that's where we were at. And he told me that Golden Boy was giving us a sub button. And I probably ran about 3 laps around the parking lot. Screaming woo.
Screaming woo.
Yeah, that was a crazy day. There's been a couple of times when I've called, like when I told you we got the Scuff sponsorship, you flipped out. Because I think you were streaming when I told you that.
Yeah, we were.
And you like got up from your stream and walked away. All right, so we're going to close the show the way we normally do. We're going to give shout out to Muddawg's cat. What's your cat's name, Muddawg?
I was muted. That cat is Monkey. There's 5 cats in this house. I'm in there.
Whoa.
5
Animals.
cats? Are they all named after
Goodness
animals?
gracious.
Like monkey, horse, cow, pig?
No, they're not.
Okay. That would be
Mr.
interesting to name
Zazzles.
cats other animals' names. That would actually be pretty interesting. All right,
Thanks for having
so
me, guys. I appreciate it.
we're gonna close like we normally do. You guys are gonna say whatever you want to whoever you want about whatever you want, but in 30 seconds or less. I'm gonna start with Hitch Ride. I'll go to Muddawg, then Brigham, and then myself.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for always supporting the STiKS and being here to watch us talk about nerdy things, and you enjoy us talking about nerdy things. It's been a year, and it's been an awesome year, and I'm excited for the years to come. And shout out to Muddawg's cat,
Monkey.
Monkey.
All right. I guess I'll give a shout out to my cat also. Thanks to the STiKS guys for having me on the show. Thanks for all the guys who tweeted me supportive stuff, putting all that stuff in the chat. And hopefully you'll see me around at some other events.
Fatty.
Gotta thank Eric for coming on. It's always a pleasure to learn from him and all of the knowledge that he brings. Make sure you go give him a follow. Thank you guys for all the support this week. It's been one of the hardest weeks of my life, and I've gotten through it because of you guys. So thank you very much. Love each and every one of you. Thank you.
All right, my name is Kingdom Soldier, and I don't have anything special to say. Me and Goalie are conceptualizing something, a new type of show to go on my YouTube channel that'll make sure I can put out more content than just the STiKS. The 1v1 is returning. I won't tell you when it's going to be, because that's the problem that we're having is some things changed at work for me where the Tuesday afternoons is probably going to be hard. But tomorrow we might have a show, so because I have the next 3 days off. So it'll be at some point this week. Just watch Twitter and we'll let you guys know. Thank you for the 3 or 4 people that subscribed today. I think it was 4. When we hit 50, I think we get more emotes, and we're at like 43. So thank you guys for subbing. Really appreciate the support. I am ordering computer parts. So in the near future, you will see my face and some type of gameplay on my channel. So I'll be streaming when the STiKS is not on. Maybe playing tanks with Hitch or mini tanks or tiny tanks, whatever it's called. Getting carried by Goalie in ranked, or GBs, whatever it may be, or playing some Worms 1v1 with Goalie. So I look forward to that because I hate streaming gameplay right now because you guys can't see my face. My wife and I started this game that I wanted to show you guys, but I was like, I don't want to play it without a webcam. So we will have some Kingdom and Wifey on webcam as well. You can expect that in the future. This is your boy, Kingdom Soldier, and Hitch, and Fatty, and thank you, Muddawg, for coming on. Anytime, if you can't get to a LAN and you're like, I just want to talk about Call of Duty, just hit us up. We'll bring you on the show.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
I'll definitely come back on again. It's a fun time.
All right. Thanks, man. We'll see you guys next week. Same time, same place. Peace out.
Peace.